Hi, my loves. How's it going? How you guys doing? Welcome if you're new, welcome back. If you've seen me before, it's time for another update from my project pan. This is very close to the last one that I uploaded, but that was already pre-filmed towards the start of July. But because of how hectic and how chaotic July has been, there was so much that went on. My dad was ill, we were in hospital for a while, then the heat wave as well, and recovery period, and then I became really ill. I've not really had the chance to really keep you guys updated with Project Pan. So that's why I like anytime I went to go update just or edit, it just didn't really work out. So that's why that video was so late. However, I'm now filming at the regular sort of time that I film, so you guys will see this hopefully on Sunday, and I'm filming a couple days before, so you guys can get like the most accurate up to date information. I am really sorry about that. I'm hopefully trying to just get back into some kind of a routine or a schedule. Let's hope it goes in a good direction for me because that's something I've really been struggling with. Also, if you guys like watching panic content, I do post more stuff on my TikTok and Instagram. Both are all at Daily with Dill. So please check me out over there too. And let's just get right into the update. So for this update, I do have one empty, and I'm so glad I finally have an empty because no, last month I didn't have one. However, this one kind of surprised me. This could have gone in either direction. Like I could have had it for another month, and it was really possible that it would also be an empty. And I'm so glad to say that this is an empty. I've been planning this blush since the start of the year. This is Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Pink Gasm Sunset. I love this blush. It gives a really lovely like sunburn kiss look to the skin. I love it so much, and I feel like this is such a perfect shade for me. I've been marking it pretty much every month. I mean, some months were missed because even though I'd use a product, there wasn't really much progress to line. But like since the start, like the start of the year, I've had it from here and I'm all the way done. I cannot squeeze any more out. And I also refuse to cut this open. I have so many blushes, including liquid blushes. It does not make sense for me to sit here and cut this open. If I had a lot less blushes, especially even including like liquid blushes, then yeah, you'd probably see me cut this open and like scrape the rest of this out. So in that sense, I'm not gonna like completely destroy the packaging to get the last bits out. I definitely would do that if I had a lot less blushes, but I have enough to last me, I don't know, 10 lifetimes, maybe more than that. So I'm just gonna move on. But I really like this blush. I thought it was a beautiful shade, I'm not gonna lie. I already have a duplicate, but that was an accidental thing. When I bought like a blush edit from Cult Beauty, they had like 5 or 6 blushes in there, and there was this one in there. I wasn't anticipating this one or this particular color to be in there, but it was in there, and I'm not mad about it because I really do love this and I'm happy to have this anyway. So I'm happy that this is done and empty. I have decided to sort of do these updates based on the products I've had in the project plan the longest, and then like kind of like move it down along after that. So we are going to talk about my Makeup Revolution palette that I've been planning. This is the Allure palette, and I have 4 pans in it. I hit the fourth pan I think 2 3 months ago, and it's been slow going with this palette. Sometimes I'm loving it so much. I mean, I'm wearing it today, and other times I'm really struggling with the palette because I feel like the quality just isn't there. And I've had this since 2020. Of all the palettes that I could have chosen to pan for this project pan, I don't quite know why I picked this. I think part of the reason was, I have a couple of like reasons. One was I love this color story. I love a movie, especially this particular tone. Like I love it so much. And the other thing was this was such an old palette. However, I have so many more like more expensive, more high end, other palettes that I should have probably rolled in. So I decided at some point that I don't really see myself being able to fully pan this at all. So I'm gonna just focus on hit 50 uses, and if I hit as many pans in 50 uses, honestly, I'm happy with that. And I couldn't expect more and I couldn't ask for more really. So the goal is hit 50 uses. Since last update, I've had 2 new uses, or since the last video, so like 2 weeks ago. And total uses are now 11 out of 50. Again, it's been really slow over the last couple of months, and that is a bit of annoying and it's a bit of a pain. I am trying to at least get 3 to 4 uses, or try and aim for more like 5, because that just means I get one step closer to deciding on whether I'm still going to keep this in this project plan or not. But also, it means I get the most use out of this before I have to toss this, because I do think by the time 50 uses are over, I might have to like retire this palette. So it would be nice to get some more use out of it before I have to. I did use this today, like I said, I do like it, but the shimmers just really shimmer as well. And I feel like the mattes sometimes are like really powdery compared to what they were too. So this does not have a long like shelf life at all, but it would be nice if I could hit 50 uses before the end of the year so I can like pack this way into my makeup memory box and just leave it in there. But yeah, not too bad, not the greatest, but at least I have 2 new uses to share with you guys. The next sort of like orders, or like in order of products, is this little pencil from NYX. I've had this for years. I believe I tried to pan it last year and it didn't really work out, but this is literally all I have left. Now, this isn't going to go all the way to the bottom. I'll probably end up finishing the product about maybe there. But I'm trying to get to that point. I really do like this. I just feel like it doesn't really show up on me as well as it would do on either really pale skin tones or like deeper skin tones, because I feel like things kind of pop a little bit more. Whereas I feel like this kind of get lost a little bit with my complexion. I try to use this whenever I use my Makeup Revolution palette, because I feel like when I group certain products together, like I'm guaranteed to get use out of them. So I have used this one and it's getting a bit sticky, so it would be nice to have this done too by the end of the year. I have made a little bit of progress, but it's just like pretty steady progress. Oops, sorry about that, but there's pretty steady progress since the start. So that's the kind of distance I've made since the last update. I'm pretty sure I've sharpened at least once, and I can see myself just continuing to get like similar progress. So I think by the end of the year, I should be at a point where I can no longer sharpen this up, and that'll be the end of this pencil. Next in line is this Morphe highlighter. This is like one of the OG products. I've had it in since the start of the year, and I've been trying to pan this for quite some time now. But it's been on and off panning, and at one point I was like, oh, I don't really want to pan it because it's the oldest thing, and like, what if I get fam? But I'm at the point where I actually do want to pan this and kind of have this done because it's so old. I think I've had this since 2020, and I think I have actually posted a Morphe haul on my channel from when I first bought this. I'm pretty certain it's around like June, July of 2020. So this is old, like it's ancient basically. And should I really be using this? Probably not, but I have used it today and I'm not gonna lie, it still performs well. I do like it. This is what it's looking like now. Each month I am making some progress. So that is kind of going down and this is flattening and it's sort of increasing the pans in this way. I do like this. I still like it. I think it performs really well. The one regret I have is not actually totaling or tallying up the amount of uses I have with this product because I do use it quite a few times. I was really lazy at the start of the year because I was really worried if I try to do show me things or try to like control too many numbers or have to focus on having to like tally up too much stuff, I might not stick to Project Panic. Next, I have this Victoria Beckham lipstick in the shade Pout. And do you know what? It's been a really long time that I've had a lipstick that I've used or that I've almost finished that I've been like, okay, no, I do need a duplicate of that. This is that shade. I feel like it goes so well with so many specific looks, but also especially whenever I wear my more like cultural clothing, like anytime I'm wearing Desi outfits for any event, it's the perfect lipstick with any lip liner for me. So I really like this. This is literally like all I have left. And at the start, I know this it was really slow to use this, but I have used this quite a few times in the last like couple of weeks whenever I have done my makeup. I want to say I probably did my makeup 3 4 times, and each time since the start of July, whenever I've done makeup at any point, I've kind of gravitated toward this. I really like this. I love the formula of this. I love the shade of this. When this is done, I will be buying a duplicate because shockingly, I think I only have like 3 proper pinks in my collection, which makes no sense considering I have over almost 100 lipsticks. So when I did the math and when I swatched everything, I was genuinely really shocked by that. But I love this so much to the point I will be buying this one again at some point whenever I finish this. Obviously not right now because I'm still kind of on a no buy and I'm in no rush to go ahead and buy it yet, especially not on a full price. But I really like this. I have actually made some visible progress. So I will share that with you too. Where is it gone? It isn't that much, but there is still a difference between the two. And I think maybe another like 3 4 months this should be done, which would be really nice because at the start I was really struggling, but it turned out to be one of my favorite products. So it would be nice to sort of have it done and then to buy like a fresh new one. The next product is a Colourpop bronzer in the shade Summerland Beach. It wasn't a complete different packaging before, but I had to change the packaging into my flower nose one, which was the blush that I used up. And that may not have been the smartest thing to have done, but this is what the product is looking like today. I think I need to wet press this because dry pressing it is not working, but I'm definitely losing less product with it being in this packaging than it was in the other packaging. However, I do think it's time for me to maybe like use a ring alcohol to like really pack it into this product. I do love the shade of it, and I do whenever I wear anything that's non-cool toned, I'm always gravitating towards this, and I do love it so much. I really do enjoy it, but it would be nice to have this done by the end of the year. I'm not too big on bronzers. I think like whenever I do like not deeper looks, sorry, warmer looks, I do try to go and grab a bronzer, but I don't feel like I'm that person that needs too many or that's something that excites me. I'm more of a, like a blush person. Like I do love a blush. I love to experiment with different blushes or have like loads of shades. When it comes to bronzers, I'm not really that like big on it, so it's fine. But it would be nice to have this on. I don't know how long it will take me, but it will definitely take me a while. But I do need to repress this one. You can't really see much difference in terms of like decreasing downwards. but it would be nice to get some more use, especially before the end of the year with this product. I've had this powder rolled in since around February, and I've realized I'm not a big fan of this. I don't really think it does much for longevity reasons, but the fact that this is called porcelain, it doesn't make me look too white base or have like a really weird like color on my skin. I do appreciate it for that, because I'm not gonna lie, when I first used this on my face, I thought it was gonna leave me with like really big like white patches and it was gonna look awful. But surprisingly, it didn't do that, and I'm really happy with that. This is where I'm at now. I've not obviously had many makeup days, so there's not that much progress. However, I'm actually going to repress this. Last time I said I wouldn't. I would probably wait a little bit longer for more progress we made it. I don't care anymore. I'm going to repress it because I feel like it's a little bit frustrating to use, and my brush is quite big, and it would be nice to just repress it into the middle where I can like get more easier and more like even powder on my brush. I think that's something that I'm looking forward to doing. In April, I rolled in another Flower Lens product, and when I rolled it in, I was really confused on how exactly I wanted to pan this. But there were two very specific individuals who helped me make that decision. And to both of you, I know you'll be both watching this, so just know that I really appreciate the advice that you gave. So this is what the palette itself looks like, and with the help of them, I've decided to just pan this product alone. The reason for that is because I use that as like the cool tone bronzer for me. I'm wearing it today, and then I realized actually it doesn't really make that much sense for me to wear, because I feel like it makes me look a bit muddy, and that could be due to the like the shade of this, but also like the undertones of my foundation. So yeah, I'm using this one. I'm trying to pan this one. Once this is done, then I'll probably move on to this little one here. But at this moment, for the sake of this product, I am literally just panning this product here. I have been tallying progress on here, and I've got two new uses since the last update, because I've done two new uses with the palette and everything else I used together. And that's not too bad. My total use is now up to 18. I did not think I'd get that far. I thought at one point I might end up just scrapping this color completely. But it's nice to use. I mean, there is a dip, but it's a bit hard to sort of like show you guys. I'll try and take a picture of it later or try and insert a clip. But that I feel like is going to be here for a long time, and it's going to give me my run for my money. But this is something that's not available. I feel like none of Flower Nose collections, once they're gone, they're gone. They never really come back. So I'm not really in a rush to get this, and I wouldn't really buy it again. But obviously FOMO, and I was in like a really intense like shopping like mayhem at that time. So I was just buying anything regardless of whether it's gonna work for me or not. But yeah, lessons have been learned, and it would be nice to have this one done. But yeah, it will take me until like next year to actually be done with it. I have been using this one quite regularly whenever I've done my Makeup Revolution palette, and I've got like a whole bunch of products that I literally use together. I make myself use them. This has two new uses since last updates, and this takes it up to seven now. And I'm actually really happy with that. This is what it's looking like now. I basically pick up the product from here because that's where there was a crack, and I just want to use up the product from there, and then I try to like push it in so it doesn't like fall out. But I really like this. It brings back a bit more dimension than what I'm actually getting from that palette, because the shimmers don't really perform that well, and they're a lot more subtle to what my taste is in eyeshadow right now. I love this. I love Tricks Cosmetics. I think they have an amazing formula, and they have really affordable, like fantastic shades. And I love buying from that brand. I would I have so many of the products, I won't lie, a lot of the single shadows, especially the shimmers. And I was so confused on which one to use. But the reason I picked this one up is because it kept cracking for some reason, and the shade just kept exploding, exploding for whatever reason in that palette. So I pulled it out to use that, but then it worked well with the palette that I'm using anyway, because it brightens the eyeshadow up in a way that just looks really fun for me, and it makes it work for me to continue panning my Revolution palette. So yeah, I've got two new uses. I don't know how long I'll keep this in. I don't know if I'll keep this in until I'm done with the uses on that one, or I will just keep it until I'm completely done or hit pan. A product I've not had use in since the last few months is this one here from Elf. This is the Cantaloupe Face Palette, or their Face Duo. I don't think this is available anymore, and to be fair, I don't really shop from Elf anymore. They've done some weird stuff, and I'm trying to like avoid shopping from brands that are like problematic or consistently problematic that don't stop. And Elf kind of falls into that category for me. I do love the shade of this blush. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's going to be the perfect shade for me in autumn. And at the moment, I'm kind of struggling to use it because of the types of makeup that I've been doing, especially with the fact that I've got quite a few blushes that I'm also trying to pan. So in this project alone, I believe there's two blushes that I'm panning. Then I have my Beauty AZ, and I think there's at least two blushes in that project pan as well. Maybe three, I don't remember. There's quite a few. And then there's another project pan I'm doing, which is the 50 Shades of Blue, and there's a couple of blushes in there too. So I'm pretty much like at max capacity, and I've gone over that capacity actually with the amount of blushes that I have that I need to pan. So this one I've had no use in it at all. I do think I'm more likely to use around autumn time because that's when I do like a lot more grungier leaning looks. That's kind of like that's the season where I do that. And it usually starts like mid-September to like the whole of October for me. And I'm really looking forward to getting more progress out of this palette at that time. But unfortunately, as of yet, I've had no use on this. It would be nice to have this done. I think I'm kind of just sick of having so many things in my collection. And I feel like this wouldn't take me that long to use, especially the blush. And I do feel like it's changed formula and the intensity of the shade has sort of like disappeared. It doesn't really reflect on my skin as well as it used to before. So I think I could potentially fly through the blush. The highlighter is a whole other thing though. So we'll see about that one. But unfortunately, there's been no new uses. This eye pencil was in here, well, was actually in a different project pan, and I've been kind of trying to pan this since last year as well. Or maybe before then, I don't really remember, but I've had this for some time and I've been trying to pan it for some time too. This is all I have left. This shouldn't take me too long. Unfortunately, I can no longer use it on my waterline because it irritates and it burns. And that means I'm very limited to how I can actually use this, meaning I will probably just draw it on my freckles or like beauty spots or moles, whichever one you like to call it, or then try and draw like a wing with this. Other than that, I cannot use it on my waterline, which is how I was initially using it. There is still progress. There is a tiny bit of progress since the last update. That's how much I've made, and that's not really the best, but it would be nice to get a little bit more use out of this one. I would love to get this done by the end of the year because I don't think it's going to take that long, and I don't think this is going to go all the way to the bottom. So maybe when I get to like about there, I might have to stop. So it's about half the product left, and we're in August, that's September, October, November, December. That's 4 months. Um, there's a chance that I could have this done in those 4 months, but I need to put my mind to it and actually put time aside to do my makeup and do looks that are a little bit more interesting and like have like a variety of looks. But for now, there is no new update. Another product I don't have use on is this lip crayon from, well, actually I've used it, but there's no progress on I can make. So this is just a tint in the shade The Strand. I do love it. I love the formula of this. I'm a bit gutted that it's no longer available, but I've used it, but it doesn't like actually, there's no like difference in terms of like the height decreasing, so there's no point me showing you that. I like this. It would be nice to actually use it up because the other one I literally flew through, and I think there's a time and a place for this product. It's just, again, I have too many products that are like all lip products that fall into the same category that I'm kind of struggling to pan everything. But if I was to use a few more things up or roll them out, I potentially could use this in like 2 months because the way that formula is, it's really hydrating and moisturizing, but the tint isn't that intense anyway. So if I want something to like be built up, I need to kind of like build it up to like show. Otherwise, it's like a little bit will just act like a bit of like a moisturizing layer. So yeah, no visible progress, but I had to just share that with you guys. In here is that Burberry blush that I had that I decided to break away and put in here. And this, I mean, there's not really much left in here. I'm going to just flatten it in here so it doesn't go everywhere. But I've realized that I actually hate this. I hate it. It's a lovely shade. It doesn't really show well on me, but it is so heavily fragranced. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it's so heavily fragranced to the point that it's actually uncomfortable for me to use, and I don't like wearing it. This, I think, said it was like 7 grams. I don't think this product is 7 grams. That's a lot of blush, and I don't think this is a true reflection of how much is in there. Um, but I've had 2 new uses in this since the last update, which takes me up to 4 total uses, which isn't too bad, I'll be honest. But it would be nice to get this done before the end of the year too. Again, I use this whenever I use my Makeup Revolution palette because it just makes the most sense for me to do it like that, and it works. So I'm happy with that. But I can't believe it's so heavily fragranced to the point where it's almost unusable for me. But on the other hand, I'm trying to remind myself that I don't have that much of the product left and I do have to build up a little bit more for it to show up on me regardless. So I will still be done with it quite quick. Another product I haven't used is this Linda Holberg. I think it's a liquid lipstick in the shade Deep Nugget. I have a duplicate of this. That was an accidental thing. But I haven't really used this. I haven't done any looks that are specific with this product that I could have used. Also, again, there's so many other lip products, and sometimes it can just be difficult to decide what kind of works or what would kind of look better. So I'm kind of trying to use some of the others because I'm a bit closer to being done with them. And again, it's an issue of like being able to balance things. I think that's what I'm kind of struggling with. But with Beauty AZ almost being done and a few other products especially like lip products almost being done. I think it will just make things a little bit easier when I go like in a couple months time, but just right now it is not easy. And then I have this Revolution gloss. So I have made the tiniest bit of progress. I haven't been able to draw it on, but I'm about here now. And I've had this in for 2 months now. And I don't know why I'm struggling to use this. Normally I fly through glosses. I don't know what it is about this one that I'm really struggling with, but I have a long way to go. And I'm not gonna like complain about that because at the end of the day, sometimes it can be really difficult to like roll in other products within this project pan, but it's fine. I mean, I have so many things as it is that I'm already trying to pan, so I think if that can just stay in a bit longer and I don't need to pick anything else for a little while, that would be great. But yeah, slow going, slow moving, a really old product. So the last thing is to roll in a new product that's going to replace my blush that I panned. I had two options. Like one could have been just an individual blush that I could have rolled in, but I'm not ready for that level of commitment just yet. And there has been one thing that I've been wanting to pan for quite some time. And when I did my recent declutter and the fact that I no longer have any liquid highlighters except for one, but that's like brand new, so I'm okay with it being the way that it is. I have decided to pull in this palette. This was also kind of inspired by Alex. She was the first panner that I watched, and she's the person I watched to discover what Project Panic was. And I've seen her pan her Natasha Denona palettes. I no longer support the brand. I don't like whatever people decide to do with what they're doing is up to them. But I don't really support the brand. I've not really bought anything from them in the last 3 years, and I don't really plan to either. But I've had this for so many years. I kind of want to make progress on this, and I've seen Alex pan this, and obviously it's taken her a long time to pan, and she's a much more seasoned panner than me, and she does a lot more makeup. She has a lot more makeup days than I do as well. So the progress that she's gonna make is gonna be times five what I can do. But I still want to pan this palette because it's so old. So I am pulling in this one. I only have this one. This is the Diamond and Blush palette. I at the time when I wanted the other one that like sold out, but this is the one I'm gonna be bringing in. I want to pan each of these creams in here, and I'll focus on different ones as the season goes on or as I want to. But currently, I'm trying to focus on this one. I don't think I'll touch the blush until right at the end, but as I'm like a little bit more on the tanner side, I'm gonna just be using this one, and then in the winter times when I'm a lot less tan, or I feel like I need something a bit more lighter, I will go ahead and use this one. I've already started using this before I enrolled it in, but I have made sure that I've monitoring the uses, and I think this had 4 uses. But if I'm wrong, I'll have it on the screen. But I've had progress made on this already, and all 4 uses have come from this product right here, because that's what I'm focusing on right now. I would love to be done with the creams in this palette, but the reason I pulled this in, even though I did say I don't want to bring any more face palettes in, these are all creams I would use them underneath for like underpainting, so they have a different purpose than the other face palettes that are within my project pan. So that's why I kind of pulled this one in, and I've always kind of wanted to pan this, but just didn't have the courage to do so. I will eventually get to the powder products in here, but right now my main focus is going to be to use up these um creams in here. Again, it will take me a very, very long time. Like I'm pretty sure this palette will be in here for a couple of years unless I decide to declutter a lot sooner. But this will be here for some time, and I really want to have this done. I mean, it's nice to see some progress in this one already between the 4 uses. I don't know if you can kind of see, but it's nice to see some progress in that already. And if I do a lot more makeup days, like I had been doing, I do think I can easily start seeing a dip in here. But it would be nice to pan this. I think that's the only reason I kind of wanted to pull this in, because I'm kind of done with my liquid highlighters. So it makes sense when I start running in my cream highlighters, because they're like next in line to basically expire. So yeah, this product will be in here for a long time. And sometimes it's nice to have like a long-term product, just because I know that for a long time I won't have to think about anything else. Anyway, that is everything for this video. I really do need to learn to stop like rambling and just get to the point. Maybe one day I'll learn, maybe I won't, I don't know. But that's everything for this update. I'll catch you guys next week with another video.